So let's see. After doing all the library switches and stuff like that, where am I? Still sitting here. So this is my experimental thingamabob. I just built. I'm surprised. I got patches for Python 27.277, not 278, as it is in the third quarter package source. Finally, I've been doing Python 27. It's been magic steamrolling for me, or I haven't really been able to collect. I actually have patches. I'm fixing things up, and I'll just go through some things as I've actually fixed up my own package source stuff and the different issues that I've come across or whatever. So, as you may recall, or you may not recall, because I'm making too many of these damn videos, I had at some point I'd realized that my Z library wasn't doing a good job loading symbols into programs. And for a while I was using the one that came with Haiku. And then eventually I figured out what needs to be done to build the Z libraries to have those symbols and pretty much behave the same way it does over there Haiku. Implemented it, but there's one thing I didn't realize or think about is that actually I created a circular dependency. So that is to say, if I'm going to be building Z libraries with CMake and CMake needs the Z libraries, then of course I have to, right. But then CMake does allow you to build the Z libraries as a part of its thing. And I've actually have not been able to set the CMake to use the systems, the ones I've already installed. There's 3 other dependencies that it'll offer to build if you don't have it on your system and zlib. So couldn't get it to not build those 3 and just build the zlib, and then I tried to use the built-in zlib that was it's kind of odd. I don't know why. There's some pathing thing going on here. I don't know. Maybe I might poke now that I have write access. Maybe I might poke around and decide I might want to change some things about the way GCC works. But anyway, if I can figure it out. But getting a headache. So when CMake went to build, it just went. There were some undefined references, actually, and there was a zlib library inside of boot system. It was actually the one I built in package source. Then I did a package add, and I got the zlib to show up in boot home system package and be registered as installed. So the build link brought it in, and that didn't have the unresolved symbol. So I've built the CMake. Got Python, got Perl. I had a little bit of package clash, so I have to update my patches up there at GitHub. And so the only thing is now, if you're going to use my tool set, you actually have to, the only thing you have to package, not Python 27 anymore to package add, because I've actually have a build of that. It's a little bit bigger than the one I put up there. And now I have patches, so great. And I haven't really messed with the headers, so this is just, the real deal is the difference here is libraries and not headers, at least at this stage. I'm not on my flagship system where I added those 4 or 5 redirect headers on video. So the headers are going to work the same, although this is a nightly from a few days ago now. So I got a little bit better of a build of Python. It's 14.4 megabytes versus 14.39. Don't know what the difference is. There were a few test PYOs and PYCs that weren't building. And when I was building Python, I had to go in the modules directory and I had to move some headers from elsewhere in the overall module Python superstructure and locally path them, and I had less errors. The only module that didn't build was the NIS module, and I think that's actually disabled by package source by one of the patches, because it's available as a separate package somewhere else. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with this Python build, and I'm actually happy that I actually got patches out of it and it didn't, ruin everything else. So now I was in the process of building Foobilliard, and the CMake thing came up, so I had to stop. And then I decided, well, I'll just see if I can do patches for Python. So I got those. Another question. I think I do want to start over. It's a hell of a lot of work, but I know I'll get back to where I was before fairly quickly because I made all those patches. I wasn't just, confederating it and tossing away the source when I was done like I did in my first run. But of course, you get used to how this stuff works and get used to patching and, the tools to use. I didn't really actually bootstrap. I just copied in the binaries from my other system, and I'm using the older version of, and I've decided I am gonna upload my package source structure. I'm gonna look around to see if I got any stragglers of work directories sitting in there, taking up space. Probably some of these, and I don't know what my package count is right now. But anyway, so I've got Python, I got Perl. Those are two pretty major building blocks, and I think I might have OpenSSL built fine as well. I finally got those integrated in from Deiger's patches. And the only thing I really haven't done, of course, I've never succeeded out with from the patches that Deiger's provided, and I'm still scratching my head in some regards. At least with Qt 4x11, the X11 category, Qt4 libraries, there's a bunch of X11 headers and source in there that I don't see how we would be able to build Qt4 unless we had we'd done a lot of work on Qt4 and drastically modified the source to be able to do that, because there's no real command line you can just throw disable X11. It doesn't really have that. So right now I'm going to test to see whether this will have any impact on unresolved symbols or not. That is to say that the libraries I'm going to build will be of the same version that are actually in boot system library for the most part, if not. There's some, that I don't think are going to link with anything, like all the Git libraries, and I have a list of things that I didn't replace. I also have a list of things that I did replace. I'll probably eventually upload both lists, and I'll discuss the results. If there's no change in the results, then obviously it's not the libraries that's doing this. At least, it's not a difference in libraries that is causing the undefined references. So, I guess just go back and start doing Foobilliards and take some aspirin or something. I don't know. This red is killing me here. So it goes pretty well until such time I get some patch clash. The reason why that happened is, Paxer has its patches, Deiger had his patches, and at the start of my second run, I kept all Deiger's stuff separately in this local patches directory. And sometimes his local patches will want to hit the same file as the package source packages, and sometimes package source will back off and say, okay, I'll just use your local patches. Sometimes I was able to merge those things. I didn't start doing that till later. And this Python 27 build is a combination of what he had, which is probably a combination of stuff that was in IQ Porter in the first place. And then I added some stuff because files were looking for headers that were there maybe 2 directories up, but they just weren't getting included. Okay, so, and I don't know if I'm going to have any difference with Ruby in this whole thing. I'm hoping maybe I will. But right now I'm just going to go to Foobiliard. I almost get the sinking feeling that even if I build it, it's going to get the result. I'm just so used to seeing the unresolved symbols. It's like I don't have a lot of faith right now that it's going to build right. So it's going to try to do all the dependencies. I've taken care of the servlet dependencies. But anyway, if you're going to use my tool set, I'll upload the zlib. You're going to have to do a package add for that. I put in some settings also, and I got new settings here too. I got to figure out how I'm going to do this. That says to use the built-in zlib. The problem is when CMake can't handle that built-in zlib for whatever reason. You know, these compiled tool sets, none of them are perfect. They all do their different things. They're all are strong at some stuff, weak at some other things. And there's a number of different building methodologies that are out there. So here's XML Category Manager. 2 build attempts ago, it was this thing. I was struggling with it for a day to get the damn thing to build, doing all sorts of weird things, configuring outside a package source, going back in. Now it just builds. That's a good change. I like that. So, this seems to be going a little bit faster, and you know what? I'm going to be honest. I'm going to say that I think that the copy and paste process was probably purposely slowed down so it wouldn't cause the whole system to crash. Sometimes when there's a lot of copying going on and it's faster, the system crashes. At least by my perception, it's faster. The numbers, I don't remember ever seeing copies inside of Haiku above 5 megabytes a second. I always saw it in terms of kilobytes or not stated, and now I'm seeing that as being very common. So yes, I'm gonna get some aspirin and play some music here, I guess. I don't know. Should have some right here. Maybe I'll just chew on it. It's not baby aspirin either. Oh my god, I don't have any. Or do I? Yeah, okay. Yeah. It's probably 5 years old. So are we still building? Yeah, we're still building. So I'm not sure how far this is gonna go, but oh jeez. Most of these will do okay. Let's see, what do I have here? In the archivers category, we have 4 packages, Bob. In converters, we have 1. In the databases, we have uno. In development, we have 11 items. In the languages department, we have 2. Package tools, we have 3. It's a very meager collection compared to what I had before. Security, we have 1. Sysutils, we have 1. Text processing, we have 2. And why would it be making XML coming over on? That's library XML. www, we got 1. And X11, we got 8 items. So this is generation number 3, of which I don't anticipate there be any real differences in builds for much of anything until I get to the point where I try to build graphical stuff. Because the graphical stuff tended to be the things that had variations in symbols. as far as I could tell. ISOC forbids assignment between function pointer and void. But we'll let you go this time. We'll let you off with a warning. So I don't know how big the dependency tree is for Foo Billiard, but alright, it's getting old. Let's see. How far are we? Still, God, this is gonna take forever. Who builds from source these days? Someone's got to do it. I was going to have a very exciting 20-part series where I do read-else on every binary and library on the system and analyze it. But I don't know if that, I don't know if YouTube will let me publish that. You know, the ratings might get too low. All the stuff are supposedly solved. We'll see if they actually build. Did a full port of Star. Some might not be happy about that. Let's see. What do we got here? 20. Well, some of these actually aren't solved. But most of them are. Some of them aren't, of course. Because I'm far too lazy to go through all these. And whenever I was able to, actually, I avoided making patches if I could, unless it would just be too tedious. Substitute classes, that can get, you know, it looks cool when you get one single text file to patch several packages, but it's the price you pay of making it is pretty big. And I'm not done. I haven't even gone through everything yet. So we'll see how things go. I never tried out Box. Wine is not solved, I'll tell you that much. So I have this other thing called Not Solved. And I'll put Wine is not an emulator in the emulators category, of course. That's where it belongs. Then QEMU is not solved. No, it is solved. No, it is. It is actually solved. My mistake. Some of these were solved because I decided to pull teeth. Such as Palmo OS emulator. It does build. That's okay actually right there. And I'm going to find out whether I have any patch for these strings bonanza here. Actually, I didn't I got a file on here that basically I have to figure out how I'm going to get patched. Problem is this thing I think generates after configure, so it's probably going to need some substitute classes action there. All right, so we're like PCIe access. Where the hell is it? I don't know. This is aspirin kick in or fall over. So the way I set this up is if you want to do it manually and not do the simple thing and use my package source stuff, okay? what you can do is you can bootstrap with package source and bring all this stuff in. The problem is now we're already in the new quarter and I haven't really tested stuff yet. I think what I'm going to end up doing is uploading my package source thingamabob to the What's It and then the GitHub, and then oh boy, just make one tar ball out of it, because there are some differences in here out of necessity. Some of the stuff will clash, and maybe over time I'll get things to merge up. It's going to be a long, drawn out process, however. Meanwhile, what I got to do is look for work directories in here and clear them out, because I know that I have extra stuff in my stuff. And of course, gotta make sure this damn thing doesn't get above 2 gigs. So anyway, I guess, well, what's news? Things seem to be going, halfway through, things seem to be going fairly well. That is to say, I wasn't surprised where I had to redo stuff, because I thought there was going to be some patch clash. And I probably should have made. There's too many damn things to mention. Nirvana is having things set up so everything is going to work out as people presuppose they will. It doesn't always work out that way when you're in the middle of getting things together, of course, but if you want, you can just call that an excuse. It won't bother me. Oh, man. There are 11,000 of these damn things. So I need to look for work directories, or just accept the fact that I've got some source in here somewhere. Or just get the stats in these categories, maybe. 17 megs seems reasonable. Size, yeah. Rawr. Still calculating. Maybe I got some source in there. 34 meg. Okay, yeah, that's reasonable. The benchmarks. Isn't this exciting? Biology. I bet you I got some source in Bootstrap. Biology, I haven't really been able to have much success because, I just haven't built G95. Haven't been able to. I mean, there was discussion about G95 being built for IQ at one point, and someone came by and said, "Hey, are you guys interested in working on having this stuff working? Just want to know since the feeler's out." And most everybody kind of rolled their eyes, and the guy never came back. Hopefully he will. Hopefully he will port it, because G95 is really the only Fortran compiler worth using, although by the same token, unless you are a scientist, most of the Fortran packages probably aren't worth compiling. I know, circular, but in general, my policy is to not blow anything off as not being worth it, but try to build everything. Someone's going to want it, and the more things we have, the more viable the platform actually is. That's at least the way I believe in it. And I'll do and say what I can to help that cause. I'll try to be as helpful as I can in the process. Oh boy, now what are we doing here? Get text tools? Whoop-de-doo. Let's 39 these damn categories. Why do I think? Oh, ugh. This is the most exciting thing ever. Yeah, if I knew how to, I know some shell scripting, but not all of it. I'm just not up to researching to find out how I'm going to find out whether there are directories buried in large trees that have the name work on it. But I do have the tree program. So I actually, oh yeah, so I actually haven't rebuilt zlibs here yet, but I'll do make replace. And I have to remember to load that up. See, the more little loose ends like that, the more chances are, oh, I gotta remember to do that, I gotta remember to do that, and then failure comes when you have a lot of loose ends. Now, one category I have not tried to build anything in yet is cross. And there are a few packages that are in HiQ Porter that if I tried to build these things, you know, they'd be in cross here. And I'm rebuilding this stuff because if there are bad symbols and they're embedded in some of my packages in the median area, then you know, the middle between the base libraries like library JPEG, ping, blah blah blah, and then the, you know, the final build, you know, whatever, VLC, whatever. Then I could screw things up. So I've tried to make sure things don't get screwed up, at least on my theory. But my theory could be wrong. It could be something small and stupid. I went to all this effort for nothing and talked about unresolved symbols and ages of libraries and differences in what's linked in. I mean, they are valid topics. They could have an effect, but my particular problem may not have anything to do with all that stuff. Now, if I was trying to use package, a couple of side time, I might rattle my mouth as I go. So if I was trying to use package source in the GCC2, I would actually have to be able to build GCC4 to be able to compile half these things. If I was using the hybrid, then I'd be half the time, okay, set arch, you know, set arch. Oh, this compiles better when I set the arch to GCC4 than when I set it to GCC2. Which gets, you know, you got to collect a bunch of pointless, trivial data. Because, you know, it's kind of what I mean by complexity in some ways that are at odds with each other. In general, I mean, there are a lot of ways to skin a cat, but if you have two different ways to, you know, if you're concurrently maintaining two different ways to arrive at an end, but you only have one set of patches to get you there, the differences between the two methodologies or tool sets is what's gonna, you know, cause dysfunction. Sometimes they're just little things, but they can get cleared up. But, you know, at some point a decision has to be made to move on and, you know, use the newer stuff. So we know that, you know, so we have one less variable to put in our recipes. So we have one less sets of if-thens. Well, if you do it this way with that way, okay, you only need these patches, but if you use this one, if you start getting things like that, then you've made it, things aren't running smooth. You want to get out of the mire. You want to clear the bushes, make a road so you can go down to Ohio, and it's just that the French leave the valley, and that's harkens the story of George Washington, but it's really not important now. What's important is this damn thing seems to be compiling. Now, as you notice, you're going to see in some of these linkers that come up, it's going to say, minus LM once in a while, or LSocket, or whatever. And it'll just keep going as if they're not even there. And that's the build link. The build link does that when it is able to get itself involved. And most of the time, the build link's able to get itself involved with the makefile. Problem is, sometimes the build link doesn't seem to be able to get itself involved with the libraries to the makefile under certain circumstances, which I haven't identified yet. And of course, since I'm speaking in very general terms, there will be someone out there that won't believe me, but it's true. So I don't even know what we're making here. What are we making here? Something making foo billiards. Why am I doing get text tools? Damn it. Wow. It's been a long time since I've seen the compiler go that fast in this environment. I don't know what the difference is. I didn't randomly delete things. I just pretty much replaced stuff. Alright, my mouth's getting tired. Round here, on the ground, watch this space, I'm open to falling from grace. I think I'm going to set a package source so when certain packages compile, a song will play. I don't know. Watch this space. I'm open to falling from grace. Alright, get text. Let's get the text and let's go. Move along. Hip hip. Oh, probably too damn long.